Today we're continuing on with Unfinished Tales with the return of Turin to Dor-Lomin. If you're new here, welcome to Heart of a Halfling. We're talking about Lord of the Rings and do some Lord of the Ring things. So let's get started. So the last section of Unfinished Tales was of Mim the Dwarf. And then we jumped over to the appendix to get some of the in-between stuff on going from Turin being captured by the orcs and Amon-Rûd being destroyed, Beleg rescuing him and him killing Beleg, and then going to Nargothrond, his love affair kind of sort of, with Finduilas, and then we have the destruction of Nargothrond and the attack by Glaurung and the deceit that was sown by Glaurung in Turin to go after Morwen and Nienor. And that's where this section picks up from. So Turin now is returning to Dor-Lomin. He's been gone for many years. He hasn't been here since he was a little boy. It's now winter time, and he goes to his old home to see an empty house. There's no one there. It looks like it's probably been empty for a while, and it has been. We learn that Broda has married Turin's cousin, kinswoman, Erin, and has plundered this house. So he goes over to Broda's house, which at the time he didn't realize it was Broda's house. It was just the closest house nearby. So he goes over there and he is speaking the old tongue, his, I guess, native language. And the servants there are giving him sanctuary, they're feeding him, giving him some hospitality, but they're kind of staying away from him. And one old man comes up to him with his old crutch, and he's just an old vagabond man, comes up to him and says, you really shouldn't speak with the old tongue, and if you do, you need to speak really softly. It's not a welcomed language here anymore. And now that the Easterlings have come in, they've, just enslaved everybody, and it's not something that we speak of anymore. And he says that most of the people here would have died of hunger if it wasn't for Lady Erin, wife of Broda. And so the old man asked Turin, why are you here? So Turin says, well, I'm looking for Morwen. I used to live with her a long time ago, and now I'm searching for her, but when I came to her home, it was empty. And the old man says, yeah, it's been empty for a long time. And even then, there was few people that would visit her and visit the widow of Tuirn. And at that time, people didn't really want to mess with her because they thought she was a witch wife, which in the language now means elf friend. And so people stayed away from her. However, she was robbed often, and her and her daughter would have also gone hungry if it wasn't for Lady Erin taking care of them in secret, and often was beaten for this aid by her husband Broda. And Turin asks, well, how long ago was this? And the old man says, well, I'm not really sure how long ago it was, but it's been a while, and her daughter left in secret. Nobody really knows where they are. And that Broda has since completely stripped the house of everything that's in it. There's nothing that's left there. And he says, I used to work for Morwen. I'm Sador Onefoot. And I remember Huron's old boy, and so he begins to reminisce for a short time about Turin, not realizing that he's speaking to Turin. And he says, it's really nice to be able to speak in the old tongue, in this fair language, with someone who speaks it so well. And Turin says, I'm sure, and, this really grieves my heart to hear what's gone on. And he says, the old man kind of made a comment about being worried that Tuirn was a spy. And so Tuirn replies, if you think I'm a spy, then you have no more wisdom than you did when I was young, Saudor Labadal, kind of revealing who he is. And the old man looks at him amazed that this is Turin. And so he says, we need to get out of here. We need to go outside. It may be colder, but it'll be safer. We don't need to be talking about such things in an Easterling's hall. And so they go outside, and Labadal is now holding on to Turin's cloak, asking him, why have you come back? What is going on? He kind of thinks that maybe Turin is coming back to rescue everybody, kind of like maybe a Moses character thing. He's hoping for some sort of rescue and relief from the Easterlings. He thinks Turin has come with more help. And Turin's like, no, I haven't come here to fight. I've literally just come here to see my mom and sister, to find Morena. And he asks, what can you tell me? And please tell me quickly. And Saudor was like, I don't know anything about what happened to your mom and sister. If anything, Lady Erin will know something about it. She was always helping your mother. She was in the council of your mother. Maybe she'll know something. So Turin says, okay, well, where can I find Lady Erin? And Saudor is like, no, I don't know. If you go, she's going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. Look at the way you are. You can't just go into a lord and lady's home. They'll beat you, or worse. And Turin gets upset by this, and he's like, I can't walk into Broda's home. And he says, tell me, where is he? Just watch and see what I'm going to do. And so Turin goes into to Broda's home. He goes inside where Lady Erin and Broda are sitting, and he is there's men trying to keep Turin from coming in, and he's just pushing them off to the side. He's not giving a care in the world. He's getting them out of his way, and he walks right inside, and it says that there is sitting the lord and lady of the home, and Turin says, who rules this house? Bunch of orcs? Where's the leader, the master of the house? And Broda stands up and says, I'm the ruler of this house. This is my home. And before Broda can say anything else, Turin says, have you lost your courtesy? Do you not have any manners that you're treating a kinsman of your wife so poorly? And Broda was like, okay, fine, come in, very reluctant to show Turin any sort of kindness. So Turin walks in, so arrogant, right? And he says, your pardon, Lady Erin, that I just, come in like this, but I have an urgent errand, and I need to ask, where is Morwen, the Lady of Dor-Lomin, and her daughter Nienor? I saw that her house is empty and plundered. What can you tell me? And Erin is like, nothing. I can't say anything to you. She has gone completely pale. She's nervous now. She's like, I don't know anything, just that she's gone. And Turin says, well, I don't believe you. Well, this upsets Broda. So Broda stands up and he's like, you're going to talk to my wife in such a way? You're trying to call my wife a liar? She says she doesn't know where this woman is, and there is no Lady of Dor-Lomin, and your mom Morwen was just a thrall folk. She was just a slave, and she ran off like a slave, like a coward. And this upsets Turin, who leaps at Broda, pulls out his black sword, grabs Broda by the hair, and is holding him. And he's telling everybody in the room now, nobody move or I will cut off his head. And he tells Lady Erin to once again, or he asks once again for her pardon, and says not to lie to him anymore, that he is, or is he not, Turin, the Lord of Dor-Lomin, that commands you? And she's like, yes, you are. And he goes, okay, who plundered the house of Morwen? And Erin says, Broda. And he says, when did she leave? And Erin says, a year a year and 3 months ago, and that Master Broda and the other incomers from the east have come in, and they were oppressing her, and they kept robbing from her, and finally she was summoned to the Hidden Kingdom, and she left that way. And she had heard rumors of the Black Sword in the south and thought that it was her son that was summoning her, which is something that Sador had also mentioned to him. And she says, but if you're here, I'm worried that something has gone awry. And Tuirn laughs. It says bitterly. He's very upset. And he goes, awry, awry. Like, yes, everything is going crazy. This isn't how it's supposed to be happening. And at this moment, it's when Glaurung's spell on him is lifted, and he now realizes the deceit and the lie that's happened. And now it says that he hears out in the night what he believes to be the cry of Finduilas. And so now he's completely angry at what has just transpired. And he says, I'm not going to die here. And he grabs Broda with all of his rageful strength, picks him up like a dog and shakes him and yells at him, for insulting his mom the way he did and calling her a slave and all of this. And he throws Broda down onto the table, instantly breaking Broda's neck. Well, now the Easterlings that were in the hall are all rising up to attack Turin, but they can't because all of the servants that are in the hall are all the people of Dor-Lomin. So they're all rebelling now against the Easterlings. So we have a full just revolt happening here, and everybody's attacking everybody. And Turin finally kills the last Easterling, and he's resting on a pillar for a moment. Sador comes up to him and goes, it's been years that I've waited for this moment right here. You have to leave now. And Sador is hurt badly, and he's dying. And while he's telling Turin, like, we've revolted, we fought back, and now you have to get out of here. Unless you're coming back with more strength, like, leave the people alone kind of deal. And Sador dies. And Aaron now says, like, your friend spoke the truth even in death. You have caused so much mayhem. You have attacked so swiftly and so just recklessly in what has happened here. You now know where your mom is. You know where your sister is. So please get out of here and leave. You've already caused so much damage. You are just as rash as you were as a child. And Turin responds to this as saying that she has a faint heart and that, she was weakened by a dog that frightened her and that she was made for a kinder world. And so with other Dor-Lomins that had survived the attack, they now guide Turin into the mountains, and they're getting him away from all of this and getting them out of there, because there's other Easterlings that are coming to see what's going on, to come and defend Broda, essentially. So he leaves and he runs off, and he asks Aaron, come with me. And she's like, no, I'm going to die with you out in the cold just as much as I'm going to die here by the Easterlings because of the damage that you've just done. No, get out of here. Otherwise, all of the work that your mother has done in trying to protect you is going to be for nothing. So please get out of here and at least not make all the mess that you created be pointless. So he leaves, he goes off, and while they're going towards the mountains, he looks back and he sees this big fire, and he's like, what is going on? And the men that are with Turin guiding him out tell him, that the Easterlings have not set the building on fire. That Lady Erin has set the building on fire. And that what you mistook as patience and quiet and faintness and cowardly was actually her strength. And it was because of her that so many people survived. And now her patience is up and she's just burning it to the ground. And so now we have all these outlaws and Turin leaving, and they are able to get them as far as they can, and they tell him, farewell, Lord of Dor-Lomin, don't forget us. We are hunted men now, but do not come back unless you have more forces. And that's it. that is the return of Turin to Dor-Lomin, is him just making a whole lot of mess for people. And it's crazy. So many of them thought that maybe Turin was coming back to rescue them, that he was actually going to do some good. But no, he had completely selfish motives, and they're all based in lies. And he was just so rash about every little thing he did. Even I get Broda is an Easterling. I get that the Easterlings were vicious people to those of Dor-Lomin, so I understand that. But also, dude, you've got to have a little decorum. You've got to have a little class or just something. You can't just walk into a man's home and insult him and then not expect to be insulted in return when you know he's an Easterling. It was just, everything just went so wrong. And his just shallow thinking that because Erin wasn't fighting back against the Easterlings, somehow that made her a coward, rather than noticing that so many people were surviving because of what she was doing. And she was getting beaten the whole time. So not only is she helping these people, but she's doing it at a personal cost. And for him to just be like, oh, you're faint and you were just, pushed down by a mean dog. It's just like, oh my gosh, Turin, no. She did what she needed to do to protect as many people as she could, even if that meant the cost of her own. Something that you do not understand. So anyways, that's this very short section of Turin being Turin. So there you go. Of course, I hope you guys all enjoyed this, and please, again, if there are redeeming qualities in Turin, please let me know, because I can't see any. But anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed week, and of course, may your homes be filled with food and cheer. Bye!